Now, observe this. 3, 2, 1. Hello, namaste, sat shri akal, wanakkam wala ni hao, assalamu alaikum, привет, bonjour, ahoy. Hey genius, welcome back. Do you think education is boring and a burden? I guess not. It's we, the educators, who make it boring. So, it is our responsibility to make it a fun-filled and joyful journey. That's why we took the initiative to take these young minds in a lab trip and show them some interesting experiments. Let's see how it goes. Total 149 students are here, okay? So it will be extremely difficult for us to control if you don't listen to us. So you have to keep quiet and listen to all the teachers as well as us. Okay? So don't do anything. Stay quiet. We will go visit a lab. We will show you how a lab works, what are the things there, as well as after that I will show you some fun experiments. I will show experiments with liquid nitrogen. So those things you all will enjoy. So just stay quiet and follow us. Okay? Don't make any noise, at least for today. From next day in the class you can make as many noise as you want. Okay? So this is Dr. Raja Malik. She is assistant professor here. Today you guys are here because of her, because she gave the permission to visit her lab. Thank you, ma'am. Now let me give a brief introduction about her. So Dr. Raja Malik has done her PhD from IIT Madras, then her postdoc in Taiwan and UK. She is also a Marie Curie fellow, okay? So Marie Curie fellowship is very much prestigious fellowship. So first, we prepare the material here. we mix specific compounds, we mix solvents, we prepare a material, then we characterize on that form and we make device on that form. Okay?
Solvent chromatography. Firstly, we pack it with silica and then we go slurry it, which is just a mixture of silica with a reaction mixture. So then we add the solvent and based on the polarity, the most non-polar one it comes first, and from here we collect our desired product, desired compound from other impurities, the rest of the impurities.
And then that solvent, we have to separate our product from solvent. Okay, to get our product. So here, this is water vapor. By this, we are evaporating the solvent and we are getting our product in as powder form. Okay.
This is the sublimation setup. So the desired product which we have is not that pure. So firstly we have to purify it more. So for that this setup is used. This is the UV chamber from which we can see the colored compound or product. And this is the weighing machine which is used for weighing the compounds, reactants.
If you are doing any reaction which will emit a toxic gas or that can emit solvent can get evaporated, those kind of reactions you have to do inside this fume so that those fumes, whatever is coming out, that will not affect you or anyone else in the room. Those things will directly go in the pipeline and go outside. Now over here, this is another mini version of that kind of thing. Let me show you. This rotates in all three directions. You can rotate like this, you can rotate like this, you can rotate like this. You are doing something over your table, and that is emitting any gas or something which can irritate someone's eyes or which can make cough something. So you will just take it down, you will guard your thing, then you will do your reaction. Whatever is coming out, that will go inside the pipe. That will not affect anyone else. Now it's time for question. What is this? This thing, what do you think? What is it? What is it? Thermometer, yeah. What is this? What is this? Chemical thermometer, nice. Anyone else? Anyone wants to guess? If you guess correctly, I will give you a chocolate. What is this? I'm going to ask what is this. I don't know.
That's the impurity.
What is it?
It's something like
That's the impurity of the
We got thermometer again. Micro samples, kind of correct. It's kind of a syringe, but it takes solution in microliter. Now, what is a microliter? So you have seen those Coca-Cola bottles or Sprite bottles, big bottles, right? Those are of 2 liter bottles, this much big bottles. Now, if you divide that amount by 1000, you will get 1 milliliter. This much amount, 1 milliliter. Now, again, if you divide that with 1000, you will get 1 microliter. So that is this much. 1 microliter is very tiny. So this is the shape. Okay? This is the shape. It's called a shape. Now, I will take solution in this. And this is for one time use. You should not use multiple times.
because you contaminate.
What are the
Now, from this, I will take 60 microliter. Let's see how this looks. So I have taken 60 microliter. Now I will drop it. You can see, I will drop it. One drop, two drop, three drop. It's not a thermometer, huh?
Pipette.
This is called pipette, yeah. This term is pipette. See, you see the color change?
When I'm shining the UV light, cyan.
That's good.
So these compounds we are synthesizing in our synthesis lab, and then we are fabricating the LED device in that instrument lab.
Okay, guys. So this instrument, what you can see, don't dare to touch it. This is called glove box. What happens? So in this room we have air now, right? What will be there if you just remove all the air? Vacuum. Mostly it's vacuum. Now I will say mostly because inside there is little bit amount of nitrogen gas. So it is inert atmosphere. And what is the amount of nitrogen gas? Whatever this density of pressure of this air, this is 1 by 500 times. To give you an idea how much less the amount is. Let's suppose in the air you have 500 molecules. So if you have 500 molecules in the air, here there will be only 1 molecule. So this is called a glove box. Why we use this? If you want to do if you want to make a device, or if your material is reactive towards oxygen or towards the environment, those things you can do inside this chamber. Now how to do it, Lalita? And if you have nails like me, you cannot use this gloss because it's very costly.
So like this you can put your hand and you can do some reactions or you can fabricate the device. You can also do the spin coating inside the device. This is the spin coating inside. And from that chamber you can mount the device and then take out.
UV visible, and this is UV visible spectrophotometer. What happens if you have a sample, let's suppose colored sample. Now you want to know at which wavelength that material will absorb or at which wavelength that material will emit light. So what is the interaction between light and the material? Those things you can determine from those instruments. Now over here, this small instruments. So this is called source meter. This is multimeter. These are to give IV characteristics of a material. These things I will not go in details because you have not learned about these things. Yeah, you can change the voltage and you can see the signal what is changing, current and voltage. Over here, this is dry box. So, let's suppose in this room we have humidity, right? We have some water molecules inside the atmosphere. So, we can control that humidity on that small box in the dry box. We reduce the humidity so that the material stays stable inside it. Okay? Okay, see. So these are some colored materials. Now she will show how this changes color in presence of UV light.
This is shining the UV light.
You can see different colors.
So these colorful compounds we are using to make the LED device.
OLED, we are making that OLED, and this is one OLED device. Yes, you can see that. Yes, you can see that. So, in power supply, it will give this kind of emission. This is basically green emitting material we have used in this OLED device. So, you can see this picture, right?
So at the end, this is the device we will get it. This is in R&D level.
So you can see the light.
Yeah. So if everything is fine, then we can put it into our mobile phone, TV, and even on the flexible laptop, whatever. So the device can be this much big. So in future, we can have rollable TVs, mobile phones. So therefore, it will not occupy so much of space in our room. It will be display. So if you use this substrate, we can have rollable TVs and even rollable phones in future, maybe 10 years.
See that green light? You can see the green light?
And we can also make this much thin device. It can be used in flexible phones or polymer TVs. This much thin device we can make.
Okay. So now we are going to do some experiments using liquid nitrogen. So first question, I will ask you, you have to answer. What is the percentage of nitrogen present in the air? 78%. Yeah, 78. And what is the rest of the air? Contains? So mostly 78% nitrogen, around 20% oxygen, right? Okay, and whatever, 21% oxygen. So if you take that air, if you condense it, pressurize it, you can liquefy that air. That becomes liquid air. Now what are the things present in the liquid air? Okay, mostly nitrogen and oxygen. If you can do the vacuum distillation, if you can take out that oxygen, you will get liquid nitrogen. So by that method, we prepare this liquid nitrogen. We condense the air, we take out the other materials, oxygen, liquid oxygen we take out, and then we get liquid nitrogen. I'll say everything. Just see, observe this. Liquid nitrogen. Its boiling temperature is minus 196 degrees centigrade. What is the temperature now? What is the temperature now? Approximate temperature? Around 30, 25, 27, 30, around more than 30, 32. Its boiling temperature is minus 192 degrees. So which one is better? Which one is better? Minus the 192 degrees or 30 degrees? So our atmospheric temperature is much greater than its boiling point. So whenever it will come close to the atmosphere, it will boil. That's why you can see this vapor. So it is in liquid form, but as the temperature is very high, it is boiling. Now there are two important things or two roles of this liquid nitrogen. It is a cooling agent. That means if you dip something, it will cool it. And second effect, that it will evaporate very easily. I'll pour some more. Now I will put this rose. See, if I do this, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Now I will dip it. I am frying the rose. You can eat rose fry. Who knows the scientific name of rose? Scientific name of rose? Okay, you can go home and search. Now, observe this. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I can continue with my hand.
Shattered.
So I was planning to bring a banana as well, but today in mess we did not get a banana. So I can. It's fine. It's fine. Now you can see it got crushed, right? I dipped it and it got crushed. So you can assume what will happen if you dip your finger or hand, right? Who was volunteering to dip their hand?
No.
If you dip your finger for a longer time, it will be gone like this, simple like this. But what you can do, you can take your hand, you can pour it. See how hot I am. See. So right now what I have done, I have poured liquid nitrogen over my hand, right? But it did not damage my hand. Why? Why so? Let me explain. I know you guys know, but let me explain so that everyone can know. So I am pouring this liquid nitrogen. It is in liquid phase. My hand is solid. So as soon as I am pouring that liquid thing, so that liquid is getting boiled. Now it is converting into gaseous nitrogen. So that gaseous nitrogen molecule is creating a barrier between my hand and this liquid nitrogen. Because of that barrier, further liquid nitrogen cannot interact with my hand. This is called Leidenfrost effect. I'll show again. If you pour it, nothing will happen. But if you pour it on a metal and touch that metal, your hand will be gone. You will get a frostbite. Okay, then we will go to the next experiment. You want to come? Come. Wait. I'll not let him play with this dangerous thing. So my HOD will ban me. He will just inflate his balloon.
Enough.
Enough. Time it. Close it.
Shut up.
Fine. Now go back to So this is a balloon inflated by Jeevan. So let's just call it Jeevan balloon. So now inside this, what we have inside this balloon? Air, right? Air contaminated with some saliva of Jeevan. Now, if I pour liquid nitrogen over it, I could not pour. I could dip it. Who was it? Can you see it is squeezing? Can you see it is squeezing? So it is squeezed, right? Now you just hold it. See the magic. It will inflate again. Yeah, it revived. Jeevan revived, like in that movie, Ravan movie, right? So it got its original shape, right? So what just happened? So inside it, Jeevan poured some air and his saliva. Okay? So now when we cooled it with liquid nitrogen, that nitrogen cooled that air. Now we know that cooled air has lesser volume compared to the hot air. Do you know these things? Yes. Okay. That's why it shrinks. And you can see how, or you already saw how the liquid became. After that, when it comes to the room temperature or this temperature, again that air becomes normal temperature and it inflates again. Yeah, started expanding. So someone of you can keep this.
Jeevan.
Okay. Now what will happen? Someone of you asked what will happen if you drink it. Can you drink it? You should not drink it. You should not drink it. Because why? This is liquid in state. It has very less volume. When you will drink it, it will get hot and it will convert it into gaseous nitrogen. So from liquid to gas, it expands 700 times. So if you drink 10 milliliter, it will become 7,000 milliliter. And it will explode. And that will be a painful explode. I'll show you what happens to this balloon. Just suppose this is your stomach. And I have to be quick in this one, okay? As I told you that if you drink it, it will convert into gas. So I'll throw a demo. No, I'm not going to drink, don't worry. You know how it works, right? You have to just blow some air from this end. Now this is going to happen. Liquid nitrogen will do that. I'll not do that, okay? Just see it. Done? Yeah, because the moisture from the air getting condensed here. Okay, okay. You know this way? Okay. Now what will happen if I put those bubbles here? See. If you shout, you cannot listen to me. Just listen. Just see. See what will happen. Sorry. Okay, I'm not getting the proper bubble.
Oh, हवा है ना? इस साइड में आके
Oh, I think this is a failure. In life, you will get failure as well as success, right?
Yes.
What I will do, I'll do inverse. I'll shoot the bubble here, then catch it and put it here. Hey, where is the bubble? So, what happens? Although I cannot show it here, it will freeze. Actually, if you create the bubble and come close to it, it cannot contact with that liquid nitrogen. It will freeze. That liquid will become ice, but it will be an ice bubble. So I was not able to show it. But it will also freeze, no? The plastic will also freeze. It will go bad. Hey.
यार ऐसा हवा है ना? हवा है ना स्मॉलर इसलिए नहीं हो रहा है.
Okay, leave it. Just leave it, huh? We should keep something for the next time, right? Okay. So last thing.
Yes, already.
Who want to eat some ice cream? Ice cream. Now see, I have some hot water here. So I have some hot water, which is around 50 degrees or 60 degrees centigrade, and we have liquid nitrogen, which boiling point is 196, minus 196. Let's see what happens. Huh? That I was doing. I also see YouTube. Okay, now what will happen if we add liquid nitrogen in the hot water? See, okay? After that I will disappear.
Okay. Jadoo.
Thank you all for coming here. You can touch this thing. One second.
Oh my god! चलो चलो.
Good morning, one and all present here. Myself, Chinmayi from 8B. I would like to first thank our principal ma'am for giving us this opportunity, and Mr. Smarak sir and his teammates, and the head ma'am also for giving us this opportunity to come to MRC lab and see all the experiments and activities which take place over here. At first, we came here at some 8:50 and we went to MRC lab and we saw there many things such as glove box and then micropipette, etc. And then like after having our lunch, we then saw liquid nitrogen experiment with rose and then with balloon, and like if you eat it, what will happen? And if you eat liquid nitrogen, what will happen? So we saw all those things. So I would like to thank everyone, Smarak sir and his teammates. Thank you.
Thank you.